Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, in this video, I have a list of some decent looking swing trades that I see possibly setting up for next week that I wanted to share with you guys. And I also wanted to go over the market indices. It looks like the market is starting to tip its hand a little bit and show us which direction it might be moving next week. Now, before I get into it, I do want to say thank you to everyone who has already subscribed to my channel and for hitting the like button on previous videos. I really appreciate you guys doing that for me. And if you are new to the channel, I like to find short-term and long-term trading and investing opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. I like to find undervalued, underappreciated stocks with high growth potential and talk about all other things finance-related as well. If that's something that interests you, please subscribe so you don't miss any future trading and investing ideas. Also, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before making any investment decisions. All right, guys, the first chart I wanted to get into was Dragon Victory International, ticker symbol LYL. This stock had a very nice move up last week and continued into the early parts of this week, but it is holding serve very nicely. It is starting to move sideways. This 8-period exponential moving average is starting to catch up to it, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if it hits that 8-period moving average and shoots up higher next week. This probably should be touching it probably Monday or Tuesday. And actually, when I look at this chart, it's slightly confusing because it seems like I want to adjust that up a little bit. It seems like LYL might be following the 10-period exponential moving average rather than the 8-period. So that is something that I definitely want to keep an eye on. And how we're going to know that is if it does touch this white line and move up. Now, if it comes all the way down to the 10-period exponential moving average, and that is the one that we want to watch. Now, if it does come down to the 8-period exponential moving average, which I think that is going to be the one to watch, that is the one that's going to carry it higher. But if we back out of this chart, we can see that this stock chart goes sideways for quite a while, which is exactly what I like to see. And then it came down and hit these highs, blasted through it, and now it is holding above it, which is very bullish. I haven't bought any of this yet. I want to see how it reacts to this 8-period exponential moving average. If it does come down and touch it and then gives us one of these nice green bars where it's bouncing off of it, I think there is a pretty good probability it's going to be moving higher. And if it does that, that's when I will probably take a position. This might be the most bullish potential setup I see setting up for next week, so I wanted to show you guys that first. Of course, no video lately would be complete without Nano Dimensions. And Nano Dimensions is holding above that 8-period exponential moving average. We can see that it dipped below it a couple days ago, jumped right back above it, and it is holding serve on that one as well. And if we zoom in a little closer, we can see it pretty much came down to the 8-period exponential moving average today and held that low. It hasn't broken below it, so that is very bullish. And if we go intraday, go to this 15-minute chart, we can see the channel that it's forming a little clearer. Maybe I might have to go to a 10-minute chart so we can look at it a little easier. Well, we can see this channel that it's starting to move to the upside. It's still staying within that channel, so that is a good sign. Another thing about this channel that it's forming, let me get these lines out of here. We can see that it is starting to form a rounding bottom. So as long as it can hold within this channel and then move higher, that is very constructive for another move up. Now, as of course, right now it is dangerously close to breaking that channel, but that's not a big deal. When you see stocks that are within channels, they can hang out in that channel for quite a while. So until it breaks it, I wouldn't be worried about it going to the downside as of yet. But this is a fast-moving stock, so one day could make all the difference. A huge move down would destroy this channel that it's forming, and a big move up would blast through the channel. So As far as I'm concerned, Nano Dimensions is still looking bullish. From a technical perspective, there's nothing to worry about on Nano Dimensions. Another stock that I wanted to show you, AIHS. Go back to the daily chart. I am out here in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania, if I haven't mentioned it in another video. A very unstable power grid. Just a couple days ago, the power was out for almost the whole day, and internet is very slow. It's difficult to find good internet out here. When I moved out here and I was looking to buy a house, literally like 9 out of 10 houses had to be crossed off the list after I checked and see if they had high-speed internet. And that was unfortunate because we passed up some very nice houses. But for all you guys and gals out there in the city that have stable electricity and stable internet service, don't take it for granted, because when you don't have it, it does kind of suck. But anyway, this one is AIHS, and we can see that this one is looking very bullish. It started a rounded bottom, and it's starting to move up, and it is holding the 8-period exponential moving average. And actually, this one I would probably adjust up because it looks like it's following one a little bit higher. Yeah, we can see if we move it up a little bit, it's following the 10-period exponential moving average just a little bit closer. The 8 and 10 are pretty similar, so as long as you are watching how it moves around this moving average, you're probably going to be in good shape if you're following the trend. What I would like to see right now is another one of those green bars starting to hook up, and that should result in a decent move up. I apologize for my voice, guys. It's starting to give out on me now. Hopefully I'll be over this cold when the weekend is over. But this is what I'm looking for here, guys. We had this nice pop back above it on that rounding bottom, starting to hold, and then we got this green bar up, and then we got the explosion up. I think if AIHS can hold, serve on this white line and get another green bar up, we could be moving higher next week. Okay, and the next one I want to look at is one that I mentioned in my last video, WWR. Come on, internet. Okay. We can see this one is moving down to the 50-period simple moving average that I was watching for before. It should be a decent support area. This is kind of reminding me like Vivo Power. It's starting to wane in its downtrend. I would like to see it come into that 50-period simple moving average a little bit faster. I just, in my experience, when they come down a little faster into that moving average, it's nicer to get that bounce up. But I am still watching this one. But like I said, the longer it takes to get down to that moving average, the less excited I get about it. And just, let's go over to Vivo Power right now. And Vivo Power is still up on the day, but it slowed down coming into that moving average, and you can see that the reaction move up hasn't been as big. I did not end up taking a position on VVPR, but the one that I did take a position on was BCLI. We can see that BCLI, when it comes down faster into one of those major moving average, you're starting to get a little bit of a sharper move up. I will be getting out of this stock before it hits that white line, or as soon as it touches it. If it moves higher beyond that white line, fantastic. But all I'm looking for is a move up into this resistance area. I don't think I want to be holding this stock for the long term just based on this sell-off. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if it hits this white line and then starts to roll over and move back down. But the longer I hold onto this, the more weary I get of holding it, because I want to get out within a few days if I can, because you are fighting the trend in a move like this. And that trend can resume the way that it started anytime. But as of right now, it still looks like it's in a healthy move up. And if we go to the 15-minute chart, see if I can get that green rectangle out of here. if we look at the 15-minute chart, I might even have to break it down just a little bit smaller of a time frame. It's doing that same channel like nano dimensions. But the line that I am looking at right now, of course, is this resistance line right here. It's starting to compress against that resistance line, and I'm thinking that will result in a pop up to the top of this channel, hopefully, and that will get me out of my position for that gain that I was looking for. I wouldn't expect it to go much higher than this channel line, but you never know, it always could. But let me get this stuff out of here, and we'll go to the next one. Okay. But just one more look at that. Very nice move up. You guys should always have these major moving averages on your charts because you can get those nice swing trades off of them like BCLI is looking right now. One that I had on my watch list before, but it has officially come off as of today, is MTC. And this is why when we get that pop above that moving average, you want to see this green candle coming off of it, because if it doesn't, it's probably just going to fade down and it's going to be a false move. So this will probably be the last time I'm talking about MTC. That is coming off the watch list. Another one I wanted to show you guys was PPSI, because that one is coming down. See, I had this on my watch list a couple days ago, but the move is starting to wane again, but it looks like it could be rolling over again. But there should be support right here at this 50-period simple moving average, because that support area goes all the way back to where it took off from before it had that move up. Bring it down just a hair. But you can see that this is a pretty decent looking support area. It bounced off it earlier, but it failed to break out above the moving averages and hold, but now it's rolling back over. Wouldn't surprise me one bit. It comes down to this 50-period simple moving average at around 2 1/4, and that could present a very nice trade if it comes down to it quickly. I will be keeping a sharp eye on this one. This is probably the second. This is probably the second trade that I am the most excited about, behind LYL. And this internet is slow as molasses today. The other one that I looked at before was HYLN. HYLN has had a little bit of a bounce, but I am thinking that it's probably going to roll back over and come down to the 200 simple day moving average that has now moved up to almost $20, the $20 share range. Excuse me, guys, this is getting really hard to talk, but actually this one is following. Oh, I guess I left the 8-period exponential moving average on there from before, but I actually think this one is following a faster moving average. I would put the 7-period moving average if I was watching this one. So as we can see, it hit the 7-period before it had the move up in June, had hit the 7-period in August and followed it up, and now that it is rolling over, we can see it's hitting the 7-period and the 7-period again. So this is the 7-period exponential moving averages is the one that I would be putting on my HYLN chart to watch. But I will be watching HYLN for next week. Hopefully it gets down to the 200-period simple moving average right around $20, and I think we would be able to get a decent bounce up off of that, because it has fallen all the way down from $50. I mean, this sucker is due, and a nice move down into that moving average would be a very nice potential trade setting up for me. Another one that I had on the watch list from last week was Age, and Age came down. I missed out on this one because I was watching another stock, and I actually had my alert a little too high. I had my alert at around, or a little too low, I'm sorry, so it never touched it and alerted me. I had my alert at $1.49 and it never touched that. But as we can see, it is bouncing off that support area that I had on my chart from last week, and which was at the top of that moving average range. We will see if it can hold above this 8-period exponential moving line, or 7. Actually, it's on the 7 right now. I keep forgetting to adjust that back. If it can hold above that 8-period moving average and start moving higher, wouldn't surprise me one bit. But off of today's low, it's already up over 10%. So very decent move as of today. But if it moves above this 8-period exponential moving average and holds it and starts to move sideways, I think it could definitely start another uptrend. So I'm going to keep a close eye on AgeX Therapeutics for next week. Get this stuff out of here. Another one I want to touch base on was IPOB. I own IPOB and IPOC. And IPOB is looking quite bearish. This is pulled back from 27, and it is breaking the trend line that I had on the chart. Let me break it down to the hourly chart so we can see it just a little bit better. It's broken below it, but not far below it. I am thinking that it's probably going to pop above it next week because it is sitting right here in this support area. Let's see if I can get this in there. So it's just below that support area that I have just put on the chart, but it has fallen quite a bit, and I'm thinking that it's probably going to pop above it next week. That remains to be seen. But as of right now, it is at a inflection point on the chart, because it looks like it could be breaking that moving average, and breaking that trend line. If it stays below that trend line, it could be rolling over, and it might be time to get out of it. I'll have to evaluate that for next week. And also holding IPOC, and IPOC is right down to the $10 offering price. Excuse me. That they brought it public at. So still waiting on IPOC to take off. I'm actually considering adding to it right now, because theoretically it shouldn't get much lower than that, but you never know with these. But I think IPOC should be higher in the future. That remains to be seen, because it is still looking very bearish right now. All right, the last one that I want to look at before I get over to the indices is KXIN. Let's see if I can get this to work. And KXIN had a big move up earlier in the week, but it is holding that 8-period exponential moving average beautifully. I would like for this candle to have been stronger, but if it can continue to hold above it next week and touch it and make a nice move up, nice candle like this, we could see higher highs, even though this stock had a huge run last week and into this week. I mean, we're talking this stock was below $1, and it actually touched in the 13s. So the statistical probability of this stock starting to move up higher is actually not as high as a normal stock, just because this move is so exaggerated. But the chart is speaking for itself, and if it makes that move, we could definitely see some much higher prices next week. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if it got near that high or went past it. But that remains to be seen, because we need a strong day off a touch, because this stock is already way above where it was 2 weeks ago. So it wouldn't be that hard to imagine for it to retrace some more. But KXIN is definitely worth watching. Super strong stock this week. But let's go over to the market indices. Let's jump over to the Qs first. Now, going over to the Qs, you can see that it has been trending down. This is kind of surprising for me. I thought the market was going to trend higher going into the election, but it is starting to pull back, and I was hoping that it was going to continue to move higher, because I wanted to buy some puts a day or so before the election, just in case we have one of those flash crash moves. Those are not guaranteed. Those are probably a low probability, but a high reward trade. I wouldn't bet the farm on a trade like that, but it's definitely worth making. And, you know, if you lose a few $100 when you have the potential to make a few thousand in a day, that's, from a risk-reward perspective, that's not a bad move to be making. But it looks like we are forming a cup and handle on the averages, which is actually a very bullish chart. And if I get to the hourly chart, we can see it a little easier. We got this rounded bottom, and it is tapering off, forming the handle. This handle is probably a little longer than it should be, but it's not terrible. But it's definitely has the angle. You want to see, when in a cup and handle pattern, you want to see the angle of the handle. It's most optimal if it's not coming down at a fast angle. This is starting to go sideways down, which is perfect. And once it breaks above that, we could be off to the races to the upside, and I think that is going to happen. And get those channels out of here first. So if we break down to the 15-minute chart and look at this handle a little bit closer, we can see that the move down is starting to lose its steam. These lower lows are getting higher. And this low is higher than the last low. So this could be rounding at the moment. And it could be breaking this trend line next week, which I think that it looks like it's going to. So I would be willing to wager that next week the markets are probably going to be up. I mean, anything can happen over the weekend, especially being this close to the election. Some news could come out that could send the market gapping down. But from a technical perspective, this looks like a very bullish formation. And I think we will be breaking above these moving averages next week and heading higher. And hopefully we do get that, because I would like to get some puts if I could. And if the market is moving up into the election, those puts are probably going to pay out just a little bit better. But we go to the diamonds, we can see the very same thing is happening. Zooming in, we can see that these lows, they're not quite as sharp as before, and it's starting to round up. If this low can hold and start to round up, we should definitely see higher prices next week. Going to the Spider S&P 500 ETF, it looks pretty much identical, which is what you would expect. But it looks like we are starting to get a rounded bottom in this cup and handle formation, and that usually results in higher highs. But that is not guaranteed. That is just my opinion. But I've seen the cup and handle formation play out many times in my investing career. So when I see one of these and it starts to break out to the upside, that is a very good sign. All right, everybody, I think I'm going to end it right there. Once again, thank you for putting up with my scratchy voice and the coughing. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully I'll be over this cold soon. But if you have any questions on any of these companies, please leave it down there in the comments sections. I'd be happy to answer anything that you guys want answered. Or if you have any questions on any other companies you guys want me to take a peek at, I am very happy to do that. I love looking at stock charts, so I don't mind at all. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video. Everybody have a great weekend, and until next time, take care, everybody.